Yeah, this is not cutting anymore. Let's get this door seal replaced. What's up, guys? My name is Andy. I need to replace the door seal on my 68 F100, and I found this out partly when I was taking out the interior to redo the floor pans. This thing wasn't sticking to the metal anymore, and it's shredded in some places, and it's just compressed and squished down. The seal, it needs to be replaced, and so before I put the interior back in, I want to put a couple new pieces in here. Before I do that, I want to get this door seal done because that's going to go in before the rest of the stuff goes in. Before I get started tearing out the old seal, I'm just going to point out what we've got here. What I've got is just it's a set of door seals. I got them off, I think it was LMC Truck. Lots of places that sell these, but I just got a basic door seal set, and then I'm going to use some of this super weather strip adhesive Permatex stuff, you know, part number 81850. I'm going to use this for the sealant that we're going to, you know, the glue, right, to seal this in place and hold it in place. And it's going to be pretty simple. And then the only thing you need is just a roll of like masking tape to hold this in place while you're going along. Now, a lot of you guys are already going to have, like, the door sill is going to be in place, your carpet or that floor mat rubberized stuff is going to be in here. You're going to want to go ahead and remove that door sill. And there's just a handful of Phillips screws, and remember there's one right here on the side. Pull those out, and then you can pull that door sill off, and then peel back the carpet or the floor mat that you have. Then you can get to this. Now mine, again, it's already starting to come, you know, unstuck from the car, and that's all right. But we're just going to go through and just start taking it off the car. There's nothing, you know. See, it's starting to tear, but this is probably the original door seal that was on here. So I'm just going to work my way around and just start peeling it off the car. And there's going to be some glue residue on here. That's okay. We're going to go after that when we get done pulling this out of here. There we go. All right, get this guy out of here. Now, if you have problems like this where the sheet metal is kind of rusted out, I replaced the floor piece, but I did not replace this. This is a future problem for. This is a problem for future Andy, I should say. I'll have to come back to that. That's not going to affect really what we're doing because the door seal will still come down onto the floor here, and then that door sill piece will cover this. But this is something I do need to address. But other than that, now we can start looking at, you know, getting all the dust and dirt and stuff out of here. And what I've got here, it's just a soft bristled brush. The paint's fine. I'm not worried about tearing up the paint because this paint is so old. But on some of you guys that have nicer paint jobs, something like this, you know, something soft to get all this dust and stuff out of here was probably what you're looking for. But some of you guys may be a little more pickier on what you want to put on your paint. So just a heads up on that. Now what I'm doing, again, just getting a lot of the dirt out of here. And then if I see any big chunks of glue or something, we can go after that. Yeah, see, I got some old bug carcass stuff in here. Just working our way around. And I'm noticing that for the most part, this isn't too bad. I think we can just go right over the top of what's here. This glue is pretty flat and there's not much there. You could scrape it off if you wanted to, and that's something you can decide for your truck. And see some more up here. Now this has an edge on it, and I can use this to scrape a little bit. Because it's plastic, it's not going to damage much. It's also a good time to start inspecting these panels for rust and stuff like that if you need to address that maybe down the road or even right now. But the whole, everything is rusted, and that's okay. I'm going to try to keep the look on the way the outside of the truck is, but on the inside, this isn't too bad. Looks like it's mostly just surface rust, but something to keep an eye on, keep it mindful when you're going through this stuff. So now I've got this as clean as pretty much what I want. And, you know, in your truck, you'll have to decide what you want to do. If you want to go after this glue, you could scrape some of this, but it's pretty flat. And I think I'm going to be okay, particularly for this truck. This is not a show truck, but you guys may want to do something more with yours. But I'm happy with that. So I'm going to use some tape, and I'm going to tape up, just take one of these pieces and go around the door sill and just make sure that everything lines up. There should be just a little bit more than what you need. And then on this, the way this is designed, this is going to wrap around. There's a lip here on the truck, and this is going to wrap around that, like where my finger is. That goes on the lip of the truck, and then the door is actually going to close against this big round piece and kind of squish it down when you close the door. So pay attention to which way that goes, because we don't want to put this round part on the inside of the truck. Like if I were to put it just like this on the truck, it would put that round part on the inside. We don't want that. I want it to be the other way. And then they say to start, you know, roughly in the middle of the doorway here and leave one end and then just kind of go around. Actually, I think they say to go this way around the truck and then come in and you end back up here. So if we were to kind of find a happy medium here in the middle, we'll tape this down. And you don't need to be super exacting with this yet. We're just making sure that, I mean, this should be long enough to fit in this doorway here. And just hold it in place. And then just kind of get another piece of tape and just work your way around the door. And you'll find if the surface is dirty, the tape won't stick because it's actually sticking to the dirt. So making sure you have a clean surface will make a big difference. And if you had somebody here to tear off a piece of tape for you, it would make it easier as you go along. All right, now you can see, so we got all this taped around. We got quite a bit of extra here. There's probably a foot or so extra. I'm gonna cut off a good chunk of it for now. And precision's not critical on where you cut and how you cut. And man, I need a new razor blade, wow. All right, so again, we don't need that part. And we've got quite a bit of extra here, which is fine for what we're doing. And we'll come back and we'll trim this up nice and clean when we get down to the end here. But now we know that everything fits. We got the excess out of the way. What I can do is we can start going in and gluing in. In fact, I'm gonna leave the bottom part for last. Let's go ahead and glue in the part where it grabs around the cab of the truck. We'll glue that in first. And we're gonna do that with this adhesive here. And I'm just gonna put a little bit in the trough and then stick it on there and stick the tape back on, and we'll just work our way around the doorway until we get back down to this bottom part. So as we do this part, I'm gonna start here and work my way around. I'm gonna use a little bit more tape just to kind of make sure everything's nice and secure. And when you get to the corners, make sure everything's tucked in, everything's happy, and then just work your way around the door. And this stuff can be messy, so it doesn't take much to we'll just put a little bit in like that, and we'll just work our way around the seal. To show you how much I've got, you can kind of see there's a little bit in there. It doesn't take much to glue this in place. Now this stuff can get messy if you get it on the side of the seal, so I just keep a towel with me so I can wipe that off. You notice that you may have little spots like this that kind of pooch out a little bit. We can come back and address that after the fact. But let's get the rest of this taped up and get all the rest of the seal adhesive put in there and taped up. So once you get everything all taped in place, you'll end up with something just like you had before when you were just test fitting everything. But I've got everything glued from this corner all the way up around, and I stop at that corner. And I'm gonna leave the bottom edge to do later. What I'm gonna actually do is I'm not in a hurry, so I have time where I can let this sit. I'm gonna let this adhesive stuff cure while it's holding everything in place. And then I can come back and then I can work on this bottom piece and not worry about pulling this off. And while I'm waiting, I can go ahead and get the driver's side, do the same thing, you know, start here and work my way around on the driver's side and get all that done. And then I can let this sit while I let that stuff cure and then come back and do the bottom piece. So I let this stuff set up for a while and everything's pretty secure, and I can go ahead and take the tape off of this, and this is gonna stay in place now, which is a good sign, right? We want that. Remember what I was saying earlier about this kind of area that sticks up. Well, what I can do is I can just put a little bit of that adhesive back there, and I'll just put a piece of tape over the top of it, and it'll just hold it down just like that. And you can just kind of go around the areas, and if you want, you can run a piece of tape the lengthwise if you've got a whole bunch of areas that are sticking out. All right, now I got that tape off and everything is holding in place, which is good. That's what I want. I still got to pull the driver's side tape off, but I can do that afterwards. Now I'm going to come down here, and this is where I need to deal with the bottom part. It's still tape kind of coming off here because remember I didn't glue this bottom piece, but I need to start to lay this out. I'm going to start with this half first, and I'll lay it out, and I'll put some adhesive underneath there, and then I'm going to put a bunch of pieces of tape so that it's held down really well, because this formed piece wants to push outward and push this seal off of the metal. So I'll have several pieces of tape that go over that, get this side done, and then I come over here and do the same thing on here, and then we can trim the edge of this and get it so that it meets perfect in the middle. And I've used probably 2/3 of this already, so I don't have much left to do on here and on the bottom of the other side of there. So I have plenty of adhesive in this tube here. I'm going to put some of it also on the, I was putting it in the valley on the bottom, but I'm also going to put a little bit on this edge here so that it will lay flat on the sheet metal. And one thing you're going to have to watch out for is the holes for the door sill. It'd be a good idea right now to mark the seal with a punch or whatever to know where the holes are so you can find those later on. Right about there. Yeah, that's where that hole is for the door sill screw. And be careful you don't put too much of the adhesive on there because it'll come out the sides like it's doing here. And it's not going to hurt anything, but we don't want to make a bigger mess than we need to. Now, you may find that you're having a hard time with the tape sticking to the metal. Again, if the metal is clean, it will stick a lot better. There, it's a lot of extra tape, but we got it in there. Now that we got to this final part here, we can see where the seam is going to be, where it's going to mate up with the other part here. So in this part, you can be exact as you would like. You always cut it a little bit long, and then you can just back up on it if you need to and just make it a little bit shorter. It's not as perfect as I want, but that's okay. The door sill will cover up some of that anyways. There, put a little extra tape on here. All right, I'd say this side is good. We can let this cure, let that adhesive cure on this side. And then I'm gonna do the driver's side real quick. All right, now we've let this cure for a while. I can go ahead and start peeling the tape off of here. Everything should be stuck down. Oh yeah, so you can already tell that it's stuck down. Before it would, stick up, so I can already tell me that's working. Fantastic. Yeah, this tape is not sticking very good on here, but it did hold enough to hold this door seal down. There we go. Now that didn't come out as good as I wanted. Oh well. Cool, so this is all done, and then the driver's side, I gotta pull the tape up off of that. Remember I was talking about how you can fix the, that stuff that kind of sticks out, those pieces of tape that are going lateral there. That was just to hold those edges down so I can peel that off, and I got the same thing going on right here with these, so cool. All right, we'll pull that tape off. All right, so that came out okay. It looks like I got a little bit here where this didn't quite glue. What I can do is, when I go to put the door sill in here, after I put the flooring down, I can put a little bit of that adhesive underneath here and just hold it in place, and then when I put the door sill down, it will help trap that underneath there and hold it in place. I don't want to have to retape it or anything. And then this is normally where you would finish. You would put the carpet back or your floor matting back on here and then put the door sill in. But I still need to do some of that work. So I'm going to stop there on my video for what I'm doing. But for you guys, just to finish this up, just to go ahead and put this stuff back in place. then you'd be good to go. So guys, like I said, this is where I'm gonna stop on this one because I got a little bit more work to do. I should have pointed out at the beginning, because I left my doors open while I let that adhesive cure, it would drain your battery, like the interior lights would stay on. So I disconnected the battery, and I forgot to mention that at the beginning, but that makes it so I can leave these doors open and let this stuff cure and not have any pressure on there. Another thing too, when you go to close your door, you may find that because this new seal is a little thicker now than what the old tire one was, that you may find that you have to slam the door a little bit harder to get to close because this sticks out so much. And because of that, you may find that you need to adjust your door latch and stuff like that. So that's something that you can dig into depending on how your door fits. But other than that, we're looking pretty good, and I'm excited to keep this thing going. All right, guys, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. And if you subscribe, I appreciate it because it helps my channel out. And we'll see you in the next one.